Big up to Mandem. Welcome to Pitch Picks. Today we got a loaded episode. We got FA Cup, Premier League, Europa League. I think we should start with you, Chief, though. You got a pretty big weekend coming up.
Yeah, me and Rudy.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Big time.
Showdown.
What are you guys going to do for the game? You going to watch it together?
I'm down if you want to.
I'll go somewhere and watch it. It's Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can I come?
Yeah, you can come.
Invited.
Yeah, if you're still gonna be
So,
drunk.
You're like a white girl. Like that's right up your alley.
You're still gonna
Sunday
be
brunch
drunk
and
from the
soccer.
Yeah.
You go hang out with the white cats.
Where do we want to go? AJ's, Cleo's? Where do
You know better than me.
All right, Cleo's has bocce in the back.
No way.
Yeah, it's a soccer bar that has bocce.
All right, I'm down.
All right,
Sunday.
Cleo's it is Sunday. Yeah,
Let me see. Sunday. What time do you guys kick off?
I think it's 10:30.
Yes, it is 10:30.
I think I just want to put this out there for this FA Cup semifinal. I think we're fucked.
Why?
I think Ola Aina's still out. Nico Williams is suspended. Ryan Yates is suspended. So we don't have like our real team, and we need our full squad to be able to deal with Man City. So if Man City were to lose this game, they should be very, very embarrassed.
But we don't make excuses. Right?
Well, I'm not making excuses.
I was gonna say you sound like a Bears fan right now.
No.
You're setting yourself up to lose.
No.
So then when you do lose, it doesn't hurt as bad.
No, look at everything. I wish we didn't get those ticky-tack yellow cards to have our guys suspended, because if we had Nico Williams and we had Ryan Yates, it's a different conversation. Without them, it gets a lot tougher, and everything is about Champions League.
Yeah, but you also have the GM, the manager of the year, right?
We do have the manager of the year.
So
I'm sure he'll cook something up.
A little bit of adversity.
Sure, he'll cook something up. What I want is for it to go to Pens, and Forrest is unstoppable at Pens. 3-0. They've advanced 3 times on Pens this in this tournament, this FA Cup. So I think, hey, we'll just defend our ass off, play counterattacking football, and hope for the best.
What do you think about that, Rudy?
I think it's like, oh yeah, you're lucky Ryan Yates isn't playing.
Yeah. Right. Look at all you say all year is how you get run over in midfield.
Oh,
and then
God.
our biggest dog in the midfield is out, and you're trying to poo-poo it. Ryan Yates. What happened last time? What happened last time we played?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know.
I've been doing other stuff.
And because you have such a fucking plastic fan base, all of Wembley is going to be Forest. It's going to be a Forest home game at Wembley. And you guys are just like, oh, this is old hat, and you only have 20,000 real fans anyway, so you're not going to be able to use your ticket allotment. So it'll feel like a home game. I wish we had Ryan Yates to kind of run roughshod over you guys, make Kevin De Bruyne quit, make all these little pussy-ass guys for City quit. But we don't have our full squad, so we're just going to do our best, hope for the best, and hopefully pull something out.
Are you worried about City's form, because they're arguably one of the hottest teams?
Yeah, they're on fire.
Yeah,
they're on fire.
And you guys are not really on fire.
Yeah, we won our last game.
Yeah, and then lost the 2 before.
Yeah, but we've had these injuries and suspensions. Like we don't have the ability to spend $1 billion in January to strengthen a squad. We just don't. Like, we're not there yet.
We should try selling some players. That's what we did.
Yeah, like I think that'll in the future, but we're still in the building process. Where were you guys? What year did you guys get promoted with this Qatari oil money or UAE? Whatever?
Promoted?
Yeah, or like when you became like this version.
Well, 11-12 was the first Premier League win.
When you won the title.
Yeah.
So when did you have this oil money come in?
Like 2010-ish, 2009.
So you guys just spent $1 gazillion right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a free. I thought it was.
Daddy's
I thought.
credit
I
card.
thought.
No, they've.
I
changed,
thought it was a world economy.
They've changed the rules since then.
Yeah, and we abide by those.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
We
sure.
abide by
yeah.
those. Listen, follow the rules then. Follow the rules now. I don't know what you want us to do.
Yeah, I know, but you were able to strengthen in January for a team that was sputtering along.
Yeah.
And you're much better now for it. So congratulations. So we're not able to do that, so we're gonna give it our best shot. Yeah, and
I don't like how you're teeing this game up.
I know he's
Like-
kind of actually setting me up.
Exactly.
Yeah, because like we could definitely fuck this up.
1,000%.
It's fun to be like, oh, like
Well,
pound
when
my
was the
chest,
last
like
time you
old-
fucked up a big game at Wembley? Oh, just last year in the FA Cup final. That's right.
Yeah, but dude, that was Manuel Akanji literally went on record and said he was drunk.
During
Really?
He said he was
They
drunk.
just won the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
They just won. Was
you
it?
I feel
shouldn't
like-
have to worry about that now because you're not winning
if you
shit
win the
this
Prem,
year.
I'm not tripping about FA Cup.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we should want to win this for sure.
No trophies if you don't.
I know. It would be so funny if we won a trophy this year.
Which is why I think that's why I think you're gonna win 4-0.
It'd be so funny if we won a trophy this
You
year.
think they're gonna win 4-0?
Yeah, I think they're gonna smoke you.
Why?
Respectfully.
4-0? When did we give up 4 goals?
Let
It's been once this year.
me see.
Give up 3 to us
It's not
a
4.
decade ago, though.
Yeah.
At this
I
point.
feel like someone pumped you once.
One time
Was
we
it
got
Brighton?
pumped. No, we pumped Brighton 7-0. It was the game before that. It was Bournemouth,
Bournemouth.
and then everybody started.
Yeah, they scored a touchdown.
They had 5.
Mm.
We had a touchdown against Brighton.
Right.
Yeah, so you're close.
Yep.
But that was one of the that was probably the 17th time this year where people were like, Forest is dead, and then we just come right back and pump Brighton 7-0.
I hope you win. I'll put that on record.
Okay.
I think you're gonna get smoked.
I just don't think Forest gets smoked.
Would you call 3-0 smoke?
Yeah, but I don't think.
What about 2-0?
No.
I think it'll be in that 2-0, 2-1 range. If City win, if Forest win, it'll probably be like
1-0.
1-0 and you just suffocate.
Pens.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it'll be a dog fight.
I think it'll go extra. I think it's going to be 1-1. Forest scores first. You guys score late, and then we just don't have the depth, so we'll have to see what happens.
Turns out, it also turns out putting Josko Vardiol in his preferred position has helped.
Good idea.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
Playing him at center back. And then, remember when I said Nico O'Reilly should be playing? He's a really good player. And then they put him at left back, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, wow, this big, strong, young kid who can run a lot might solve our issue with getting run over by younger, stronger men.
Yeah, but he's not like
A game breaker, but it helps.
But he's also not a left back traditionally.
No.
They're just like, you're an athlete. Go out.
I know. Well, Pep, loves mixing up positions. I remember that.
Where does he-
Remember the days when we had we had Liam Gallagher telling Pep to put Fabian Delph at left back. He's like, that's a good idea.
All right.
Yeah. And then we put him there.
Yeah.
And then Bernardo at some point is playing left back. So yeah, and then Matias Nunez is playing right back. It's still goofy as shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's still real goofy, but McAtee could have 12 goals.
McAtee's really good.
Yeah.
McAtee's really good. He's going to look good in red next year.
God, I hope we keep him. I'm sitting here thinking okay, we're on the KDP, retirement tour.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's
gonna come here,
leaving.
actually.
He's going to leave or whatever. So
You're forcing him out.
Yeah, that was a little unfortunate to see that he was like, yeah, I would have stayed, but whatever. That was just a little sad to see.
Chicago Fire.
I agree with the decision.
Yeah.
I think that if he were willing to take less money, I don't even know if that was even offered. But
yeah,
he's not what he was.
Move on.
You got to move on. And but I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, dude, McAtee's kind of I know we want Florian Wirtz. That'd be great, but
I hope it is. Florian Wirtz.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, dude, McAtee. He doesn't have the same passing range, but I'm like,
Yeah.
kind of got pieces here.
If I'm James McCarty, you do not trust Pep Guardiola whatsoever. You leave immediately.
Unfortunately, you're right,
Go
dude.
somewhere where you'll play 40 games in the season.
Yep.
Unfortunately, you're right because
Go to another team that's playing
Yeah,
Champions
'cause
League football.
As you said you're already looking at Vitz right there. Vitz ain't coming to sit on the bench.
no, he
No.
is not. And so yeah, I unfortunately do agree with you. It's just one of these
Pep-
weird things with Pep.
Pep needs to, he needs them. He needs to butter them up because of the homegrown rule. He needs
Yeah.
a minimum of what you need. Do you need a minimum of 10 English guys or whatever, 8, 10, whatever the number is? So he needs him around in the squad. But if you don't give opportunities, and he's looking at his peers, he's looking around. He's the same age group. McAtee, I think, is the same age group as Cole Palmer and Saka and them. So he's looking around and seeing, all right, Saka's the main guy at Arsenal. Palmer's the main guy at Chelsea. These were the guys that I was teammates with at England under 20. Here I am fucking trying to beg Pep for garbage minutes off the bench kind of deal. So
Yeah,
Would you do a deal in the summer that was McAtee and $60 million for Gibbs White as your KDB replacement?
I wouldn't view him as a KDB replacement, but I wouldn't. McAtee plus $60 million.
Yeah.
I might.
he's another one. Again, I would advise him not to leave Forest.
I don't think
playing
he
week
will.
in, week out. If
Yeah.
he goes to City, bro, you ain't going.
He's
there.
also like the main guy at Forest.
At Forest, that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah. So he might play every week at City, but he's not going to be like
He won't be
the face of
even
the
that.
team.
Bro, he's I don't know if he'll play week in, week out at City if he goes.
Yeah, maybe not.
He'll probably be a squad signing. Yeah, he'll get a pay raise if he
Big-
goes to Man City. Big
yeah.
one. That's the only thing that you look forward to when you're going to City. But actual playing, if you're trying to play unless you're an established star already, I would advise you not to go.
Yeah, but it's like you kind of got to hope that they just want to trophy hunt, like the Matias Nunez of the world and like those guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Also, you guys give out fat checks, bro.
They do.
Big
Nunez
checks.
ain't nobody else giving him north of 100K.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fact. Can we talk about Pep's celebration
Which one?
when Nunez scored in the 94th minute? It was
I didn't even see it.
Oh my God, he went. It was the most divorced guy celebration I've ever seen in my life. Like he let out a scream that was so primal. And he did a big celebration, which is like you see those every once in a while, but he added like an extra 4 seconds to it that was like true expression of pain, like releasing from his body. Like the first 3 seconds of it were happiness that they got the win and they needed it so badly for Champions League, and then the last 4 seconds were screaming because he's like, I'm getting a divorce, but my life is still worth living. That's what that was. That's what that celebration was. It was incredible.
Good for Pep, man.
Oh, it warmed my heart. It warmed
Been a
my
tough
heart.
year.
It's been a real tough year. Also, Doku.
Yeah.
He's just frying guys.
He is like the perfect off the bench guy.
Oh my God, dude. I can't even imagine being a right back and you've run 11
All day,
kilometers.
yeah.
11 kilometers. You're like, okay, 80th minute. Let's just get through this. And then Jeremy Doku comes out. Fucking Sonic the Hedgehog is just flying. Like, no thanks.
the Hedgehog is
dude,
crazy.
no thanks. Like, that is the worst thing I can imagine seeing. Dude, if he could just shoot the ball, he would make Vinny look like a pedestrian.
But
No bullshit.
Smoke him?
No, dude, he is so like. I mean, granted, he has 3 moves. He takes his right foot and goes like this, and kind of like a cobra, like he just like wiggles it, and then it's like right or left, and that's it.
and he's gone.
That's it. That's like he is the most successful dribbles of anybody in the Premier League, I think, or at least percentage of successful dribbles, and it's off 2 moves, and it's left or right.
Yeah, that's how you know you're fast.
It's kind of like old. Remember how Sterling used to do that?
Yeah.
You would just slow the guy down,
Yeah.
slow the guy down, and then just bang, see
even
ya,
at City.
and just get to the byline. At City, same exact thing. So he's kind of like that. It's just the Sterling at that time was finishing shit, like finishing.
Sterling for City was a gunman.
Dude,
Sterling
Yeah.
for City.
people forget that he was like at one point like $100 million player.
Sterling was that guy.
He was.
Liverpool, when he came out of the Liverpool, when he came out of Liverpool, he was that guy.
Yeah, he was a problem.
City. I remember when City got him for 50. We were saying that was cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's crazy. Sterling was unreal, man.
yeah. So, but it's good to have him.
And that's what pisses me off. That is what pisses me off. Is that look
What?
at the version we get.
I knew
Well,
you were
you
going to
got,
say that.
like,
We got the Zal version of Sterling.
Look at the one we get.
I'm actually
That
kind of
one
bummed
that's
about
eating-
that.
The one that's eating too many buckets of fucking fried chicken is all fat and not.
I'm
fucking
glad you
good.
said that, Zal.
It's
Well, you got the 32-year-old version.
yeah that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, give me a score prediction for the game.
I'll say 1-1 Forest on Pens.
I'm gonna say 2-rip City.
City's going to.
I think City's going to win. Well, I'll go 3-0. We got Palace and Villa as well. What do you think of that game?
I think Villa takes that.
Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Really?
Although Palace just gave Arsenal all they could handle midweek.
Gifted.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the Premier League games don't even matter, so.
And we gifted them that game. It's not.
You
that-
gifted Liverpool the title officially with one
That
more
too.
point
Yeah,
by
that's
not
fucked
picking
up.
up 3.
I
Yeah.
think it's Champions League focus, but Palace is gonna get smoked by Villa. Unai Emery, that guy is a good manager.
Bro, did you see
A
his meme?
Midlands FA Cup final will go
They're
off.
they're my favorites to win the FA Cup.
Did you see his meme?
Emery, what do they?
He was like this, and he was like, Mrs. Emery's going to have a good evening.
Good evening.
Good
Does
evening.
you know where the good evening comes from? Have you seen the good evening?
It's from Arsenal, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
Press
time.
conference. It's
Dude.
so fucked up. It's like a dude, bro. He just came fresh off the boat from Spain. The guy is trying. Instead of doing, he could have just chosen to do his interviews in Spanish.
Yeah.
The guy is actually trying to accommodate you English. See you next Tuesdays that know nothing else but English.
Yeah.
So he's like. Then they take the piss out of him when he goes good evening instead of good evening. He's talking Spanish.
But let's be honest, good evening's funny.
It is funny.
Good evening's funny.
The timing, smokes. The thing is, the timing of it could not have been for the jokes. It could not have been more perfect because that was when we were just getting our fucking teeth kicked in. Then this guy is coming up in the first thing after we've just been pumped like 5-0. This motherfucker is coming up in the first thing he says, "Good evening."
It was so funny.
Oh,
It was
days.
so funny. Yeah, dude. I mean, Villa is they're pretty legit.
We're
Like
unlucky to meet a beast of a team. In
like we stole a game there. Like that was the most boring game
Yeah.
up until the end. And they're solid, man. They're a really solid team. And Palace, like I agree with the Arsenal boys that like that Premier League game. It's like they took a draw off Arsenal, but it's like
Who gives a fuck?
who gives a fuck really? You know what I mean? Like I don't think Arsenal like
we
they
were robbed too in that game.
yeah. So like I don't know. Like Villa also I think is going to be highly motivated because like they've been really good this year. And they're on the up, and they really, I think, want to get something out of this season.
I mean, getting to the quarters of the Champions League, bro, tasting it. You're right there. In the Premier League, you know, you're kind of in the mix. This is their chance to get a trophy.
And also, let's not forget, like, they were handling PSG, who is a serious fucking team.
They are.
And Unai Emery figured out a way to put them on their heels. I'm pretty sure he'd be able to figure out Crystal Palace.
So we're all going Villa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about the Premier League. We all know Liverpool already has it in the bag. They have to get 1 point this Sunday. They play Tottenham. So I think we could just go ahead and chalk that one up as job's finished. But
I would love if it took them a few.
It ain't over until it's over.
I would love if it took them a few. Just like, all right.
like if they lose 3 straight,
Yeah.
They can lose
Like they're
more
still
than
going to
six.
win it. Like,
They
hey,
can lose.
chill. Liverpool, great season. You still won it. Fantastic. But it would be funny if it took a couple and you're like, okay.
as a Liverpool fan, I kind of like the edge a little bit. Like, edge me a little bit.
Yeah, like this kind of was.
Because you've already had it in the bag. There's been no pressure. There's
Right.
been no game. Like, you haven't had to put in any work, no dinners.
Oh, here we go. We're getting.
But no, you lose 3 in a row. It's like, are we going to do this thing? And then they come out and they win and you fucking bust a load.
We're getting Nicky Smoke TikToks on pitch picks now.
I mean,
we could do your vlogs on pitch picks.
Comparing soccer to girls.
I kind of am with it though. Hold on, are they home?
They're home against Tottenham. Ain't no way
They'll win
Spurs
it
are
at
going.
home.
Yeah,
They'll
there's
win it.
no way.
They're
I
not-
would love to try to spin some narrative where Tottenham like throws like a
Wait, when is that game?
a twig in their wheels or whatever
Sunday.
the fucking saying is.
Oh,
Sunday,
perfect.
yeah.
I'll be watching far.
Stick in the spokes.
Yeah, throws
Yeah.
a stick in their spokes. But dude, Tottenham going to Liverpool, no, ain't happening.
Not going to happen.
No.
So they'll be crowned.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially at home. Like,
I'll see the result. I won't be watching that game.
That just sucks, bro. They shit on us. They shit on the whole league.
Nah, it's
It's not even close.
Not
We
close.
were robbed.
Robbed.
How are you
12
robbed?
points off. Robbed.
There's eight games. 8 games I can point to you. Game
Name them right now.
Game
Just
change-
name the game.
Brighton 1-1.
Man City.
Bournemouth 2-0. Man City, the draw at the end. That's 3.
I mean, we weren't robbed in City. We choked the last 10 seconds.
We had a red card given to us at the beginning of the second
But still,
half.
I mean,
we choked the
literally
last 10
every
seconds.
team can
We,
do
we were
this.
given a
Every
red
team
card
can do
that
this.
was not meant
Yeah,
to be
you're
a
probably
red.
I don't know if we can. We sucked.
Yeah.
We were given a red card that
We had a
was
lot
not
of
meant.
injuries,
That was
but-
not meant to be a red card. It changed the way we played that entire second half. It literally we had to change the way we played because we were 10 men down, not 11. I could go on for days, but they know the evidence. My tweets are there.
Yeah, you're also – it's looking like you're going to finish 16 points off.
That's a tough look.
So them 3 games, that's already minimum 7 points gained right there. So subtract that, we're at 10. I said 8 games, so that's 3. The other 5 will make sure make
The crazy thing is I just did the math. So if they win out, the max points they can get is 84. And they've had an incredible season, but 84 to run away with the
would not have won you. It wouldn't have won you the Premier League in the last Lord knows how many years.
yeah, that's like a pretty low number.
That's like winning the Premier League in the 90s and the 2000s.
Yeah, that just goes to show how much of a fucking bloodbath it's been in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
Since Man City's showed up, it's been you've been needing 90s.
Yeah.
Well, what do you – speaking of the middle, do we want to have an updated prediction for who qualifies?
That's what I was saying, because
Top
Villa's
5.
Villa's in 7th, and they're only 3 points
Yeah,
off.
so City, who playing one extra game, is 3rd. They got 61. Forest has 60. Newcastle 59. Chelsea 57. Villa 57. So you're taking, what, 3 from 5? 3 from that 5.
Okay.
What do you feel, Chief?
Here's what I feel.
Last week you was trying to drag me. You were trying to drag me down into that mess, trying to scare me. Who were we playing? Was it Everton? I forgot who we were playing.
Here's what I
into that mess. Hell
here's
no.
what I think. You ready? So Forest, for their last 5 games, they have Brentford at home. That should be a win. They're at Palace.
Wemo.
Yeah, but like, at home that should be a win.
Okay.
They got Palace away.
Ooh, away. Ooh.
Away. Leicester at home.
Okay.
That's 3.
a win.
So
Okay.
now you have 6 like minimums. I think from those 3 games you'll get 6 points. And they're away at West Ham, who stinks, and they finish with Chelsea at home. I think that they're sitting at 60 points. I do think 69 gets them in.
That Chelsea game might be a cup final.
I hope it's
Chelsea
not.
game is gonna be a cup final.
Chelsea has to do Everton this weekend. Then they have Liverpool at home, but Liverpool would have clinched it. Then they're away at Newcastle, United, and Forest.
Mm.
And then we'll do the Villa schedule. They got Fulham. They only have 4 left, right?
Yeah.
Villa, yeah, because they played.
Yeah, they played.
Villa has Fulham at home, Bournemouth, Spurs, and United. So I would say that they probably have the easiest run in, but they have 1 less game played. So, this is what I mean. If Forest beats Brentford, they will be 6 points clear of Villa with the same amount of games. So it's just like the math.
Okay.
The math just is on Forest's side, but they have to win that Brentford
But
game.
now you're praying. You're saying that you're looking at Villa, right? You're looking at Villa, but you're also praying that Chelsea doesn't win that game.
And United's got
Newcastle doesn't win
Ipswich
that
this week.
game.
What's that?
Newcastle has Ipswich this week.
Yeah, so you chalk up 3
So
more for them.
Newcastle. Ooh, Newcastle.
You have to win.
This
is a
but
must-win game.
I agree.
You know
you got to
what's-
beat Brentford.
You know what's not looking good for you?
What?
Less of the fixtures. What I would be worried about for you is your goal difference.
Yeah, but we have a better
goal
goal. We have a
difference.
better
No,
goal
it might.
difference. Villa won't catch us on goal difference.
Bro, that's what it might. Villa's.
Villa's-
but that's what it might come down to. The fact that it's
Forest
weaker
is
than
9 up in
the
goal
Chelsea-
difference on Villa.
Chelsea and Newcastle. Though.
Yeah, I think you're worried about the wrong team. I think you should be
Chelsea,
worried about
that's what I'm
Chelsea
saying.
and Newcastle.
I just
Because 6 is
Because I think the
6
top
is
3
out.
is locked
6
now.
is
Like
out.
City's in such good form, I think they have that 3 locked up.
6 is out.
do you agree with that?
The thing
City's
that
still there.
I don't.
City's
The
still
problem is that this keeps happening every week. Where I look, I'm like, okay, we're good,
still
and then I see the fucking games played. I hate that we always keep like 3 weeks in a row. We've had the 1 extra game in hand.
Yeah.
Not game in hand. We had 1 more played, so I hate that. I think that looking at the schedule, like City have a pretty good.
They do.
We have a really favorable
Wolves,
run in.
Southampton, Bournemouth, Fulham.
Yeah, and Bournemouth and Fulham are the only 2
Only
tough
tricky
ones.
teams.
Yeah, so I think City's in a really good
Wolves have been playing very well.
I think that Chelsea have a really good chance, but I just don't really believe in Chelsea. And I think Aston Villa have a pretty tough run in, but they're really good and motivated. So I think that it's going to be City, Forest, Newcastle, and I think Chelsea's going to fall out and Aston Villa is going to go in. That's what I
I
think.
usually lock in 6.
I think you have to knock out 2 teams.
Well, I'm counting the 6th spot.
Oh, for Europa?
Yeah. So okay, if I'm knocking out 2,
Wait, Champions League is officially 5 now?
yeah,
Yeah.
Confirmed.
yes.
Yes.
So if I'm knocking out 2, I just don't think. Fuck. I think Newcastle. I think it's going to stay the way it is. I think Newcastle. I don't think Villa. Like they may be better than Newcastle overall, but I don't think they're going to be able to make that up, especially
You say
with
you
goal
got
difference.
I think Villa will end up in Europa League over Chelsea. I think that'd be my
I
only
agree with
switch.
that. But I don't know if Villa can get into the top 5.
Chelsea's running because they have Everton, who's been playing well. But it depends on if Liverpool wants to show up for that game.
Right. That's the big.
That's the
big thing because like Newcastle has them. Newcastle. Oh no, they don't. Newcastle has Arsenal, and fuck, they may not show up for that either.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Everton's gonna be tough though.
Everton will be tough.
Brighton's gonna be tough. Man, this is some tricky.
It is like very hairy.
I feel like
it is
I feel
very
like Zach
hairy.
Galifianakis in The Hangover right now. Like equations flying
Squeaky
around.
bum time, Chief.
It definitely.
It's gonna be
is.
tight no matter what. I'm just gonna go off vibes. I think that Chelsea's out. I think Villa in the 6, and I think Newcastle 4 City.
Okay. I'll sign up for that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Newcastle plays Ipswich. Chelsea plays Everton.
I honestly, if I'm being dead serious, I hope this doesn't bite me in the ass. I don't want you guys to fall out of Champions League.
Thank you.
Yeah, that would suck.
That
Bro,
would,
that
Just because you've been up there the entire year.
And it'd be
I-
such a nice thing that doesn't happen often.
I
you what
know.
mean?
Chief, points on the board.
I know.
Points on the board.
Points on
What
the board.
counts? There's 2 dubs. There's 2 dubs incoming this weekend. A dub for Chelsea, a dub for Chelsea, a dub for Newcastle, and you guys aren't playing. That's not good.
But I mean, we play Brentford on the 2 on
8
the
points on the board.
I hear you. That's what I mean. Like that.
But
Brentford
then again,
game
it's
is
the
huge.
Premier League. Anything can happen. Like, we
I
chalk up
do
points
think-
all the time, and you don't get the result you want.
Yeah, I do think if in these next 3 games, if Forest goes 3-0, like the last 2 games won't matter.
Right.
That's I
Wait, what did you say?
if Forest their next 3 games are
Yeah.
Brentford at home, away at Palace, Leicester at home. If they get 9 points from those 3 games, I think it's done. I don't think the last 2 will matter. 69 points gets you like that should get you in the
I would
Champions League.
agree with you if you were playing at least one of the guys that you're fighting.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
I would agree with
Which
you.
is there any games
You
that
were
are
playing at
between?
least.
Does anyone have a game that's
You're
between
playing
them?
if you're playing one of
All
one
of
of
them.
Newcastle, Chelsea, or Villa.
To like
Villa,
knock them out, you mean?
That's what I mean.
I would agree.
Is there a
I would agree
head-to-head?
with that take?
Newcastle, Chelsea. is
Yeah,
gonna be-
there's
yeah.
Newcastle and Chelsea have to play each other in that 3-game stretch.
So that's going to be. We don't even know who we're going to be rooting for.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, we don't even know who we're going to be.
We
rooting
just
for.
need Liverpool to fucking play out the whole season and run away with
That
it.
is a huge
They're
aspect.
not
We need
gonna-
Liverpool.
You know.
The second they win that title,
it's gonna be
done.
It's gonna be Rio. It's
Be
gonna
fucking
Rio.
professionals. Be
gonna be-
professionals.
The second they win it, it's gonna be Rio Ngumana from the under 18s playing the last 3 games.
is that how it is?
There's a
That's
Rio,
how it should be.
There's a Rio kid. There's a kid named Rio that.
No, I'm saying in general, like they win the league, they put out the.
I just had a vision, a scary vision. I don't know why this popped into my head, but there's a universe where
Arsenal. No.
Ederson
Okay.
comes back from his injury, and they play him like the last game or the second to last game, and some fuck shit happens. I just see that so clearly, and I'm an
Sound like
Ederson.
Saw.
Guy. I'm an Ederson guy. Like I've been riding with him. I think he should stay. But let's just ride. Let's just ride out with Stefan Ortega.
I agree with him.
Yeah, no, because he does that. Like he comes.
There's certain guys. The way they play is risky.
Right, he's a risky player, and like if he comes back from injury and he puts him in that like last game, second to last game, like there's gonna be some fuck shit.
Yeah.
And so I worry like that scenario. Unfortunately, I can see the stars aligning where it costs us the Champions League, but I think for this one you got to ride out Ortega and let him do his thing.
Yeah.
And I will say this, as this is my first full season from week 1 to week 38. I used to always be I wanted a playoff system so bad. There's no need for a playoff.
Yeah, it's never-
Like the way the league is set up, the point system, 38 games, then you have Champions League, FA Cup, all this other shit. You have the most points at the end of the season, you deserve to win the league.
This is actually a terrible season because we only have 1 race. There's usually 3 races going on. There's usually the title,
Yeah.
there's usually the top 4, and then there's the relegation.
I will say this though, the fact that even though we lost the title and we don't really have a relegation battle, the middle is almost
The middle
making up for all of it with how nuts it is. Like it
They gotta beat Brentford. They gotta beat Brentford.
I'm worried about
Squeaky bum
Fulham.
bum.
I'm worried about Fulham, dude.
Buemo and Wisa
Where's
ain't
that game?
no joke.
No, they're not, bro.
Buemo and Wisa ain't no joke.
All right, we
It's
also
at
At Fulham,
Fulham.
the last game of the year, but Fulham has been.
Yeah, I know. And luckily for us, Bournemouth is.
Bournemouth has turned into a pumpkin too.
Yeah, I mean we can't fuck this up.
Yeah,
we have
so,
Wolves, Hampton, Bournemouth, and Fulham. We cannot fuck this.
you're gonna win all those games.
We better.
Yeah, so that'd be 12 points, and you guys would be fine
Yeah.
We also have Europa League,
for the 6th Champions League spot from the Prem,
which is
potentially.
crazy.
Yeah.
and Ange can save his job.
Do you think Ange can save his job if he wins the Europa League and they go to Champions League?
Yeah.
That's
100%.
the first.
100%.
They have 18 losses in the Prem.
First,
Doesn't matter.
bro. That's,
I think it does.
brother,
I think he's still fired even if they win Europa League.
No.
first trophy in Tottenham's history, my friend.
They'd be able
they'll
to sing
build a
"You'll
fucking-
Never Sing That"
they-
to Arsenal fans.
They should build a statue for him.
What are they, 17th? 16th?
It's first trophy. build their statue. You won't remember that. You won't remember that 2, 3, 4 years from now.
They are sitting in 16th. They are a point ahead of West Ham for 17th.
As long as they don't get relegated, you
He
won't
has
remember that.
18 losses in the Prem.
I think
If they win Europa,
If
though.
he wins a trophy, you build a statue.
I don't know why. Is there like I know people have been like Ange out, but like is there
I love
any,
Ange.
Yeah, me too. Is there any actual like pressure from the higher management that like indicate that he's gonna get fired?
There's a lot of pressure from the fan base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm Ange, like this is a terrible negotiating strategy. But if I'm Ange, like I think the best thing you have is you're like mulligan.
But
Like forget it. Like I don't care how many mulligan. Like just
Yeah.
run it again. Give me one more.
it's just like
You know what I mean?
they've had so many injuries too.
You're right. It's like mulligan.
But then people blame him for the injuries because of the way that they play, where they just press you until
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm still an Ange guy.
I like Ange. Ange is like I'm an
You just
Ange
like
guy.
him as- you like the way he sets up.
Like his accent.
I love the way he sets up. I love the way he
like
talks.
his accent.
I love his accent. I like that he gets pissy with the media.
Yeah.
I like that he's like in year 2 I win trophies and everyone's like haha now he might.
I
actually
love how
do
he
it.
has that like European cosmopolitan accent where you don't really know where he's from, but there is an accent
Yeah,
present.
and he's Australian.
Is he really?
He's Australian. Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Now you make me want to look it up, but I
You hear the accent?
I mean, I heard accent, but I didn't know what it was.
That's the Aussie.
yeah.
I mean,
he's-
forgive me for not knowing a guy named Ann Postecoglou is Australian.
He's from. He
accent.
grew up in Melbourne.
The accent.
That's fucking crazy. I
Yeah.
didn't know
He
that.
says every single fucking question, after everything he says mate.
Yeah, but like mate is like
He's not the only
an
one.
English term as
yeah,
well.
they say that a ton too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope for like my own entertainment that he keeps him, that Levy keeps him. But I think it's very possible that even if they win Europa, he gets fired.
No, I mean on paper he should be burned at the stake.
If they win Europa, he's not getting sacked.
Daniel Levy is a money man. It costs way too much money to fire his ass.
That is-
if he wins a trophy.
That's
his
true.
job.
Yeah.
But like all of his signing, like these are his guys. Like he got Madison in, he got Brennan Johnson, he got Solanke, he like
Mulligan.
this Van de
Mulligan.
Ven. This, just a Mulligan.
I mean Mickey Van de Ven going down an injury cost him his life.
Yeah,
His hopes and dreams die with Mickey Van de Ven.
and it's just like they subbed him off against Forest because they're like, we just don't think he can play. Like, when was the last time you had a planned sub for a center back? Like that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean the human hamstring can only handle so much. Like that Dutch guy is too big and too fast for the human hamstring.
But he's key.
He needs to put some metal cables in there. Like whatever they use to keep up the Golden Gate Bridge,
Yeah.
that's what he needs for hamstrings.
He's bionic legs.
Dude, imagine that in the future. Like if you're like kind of like little bit like Tommy John is now.
Yeah.
Like in a weird way, if you're like younger, you kind of want to just get Tommy John out of the way if you're a pitcher now.
It gives you like 3 miles per hour faster.
Right, and then it's
Yeah.
like good to go.
Yeah.
But so like I wonder if there's ever going to be a world where it's like at a certain age when
I
you're
think
growing up, they
that's-
just like buff your hamstrings. Like Saka, like imagine if he had some artificially reinforced hamstrings, you could play him 100 times a year.
We already do.
Love that.
That hamstring is how they do the patella tendon, too. If you tear your patella tendon, they just take a graft out of your hamstring and put
Really?
it in your knee. So that hamstring is
Me.
pretty tough muscle. Yeah.
So as a generational hater of both United and Tottenham, if one of them were to win Europa League, which one would you prefer?
Oh, that's a good question. You'd be stuck.
No, I can't go on record answering that question.
You have to answer the
Have to
question.
answer it.
No, I can't.
Suicide. You choose suicide?
Guess what? It's fantastic that I live in America. I don't have to do anything that you guys. No, I'm kidding.
I think it's a very easy answer.
Nah, it's complicated.
I think
Actually,
United winning does nothing.
United.
Like, yeah, you might have to deal with Maresh, but Tottenham still has no trophies in the trophy case.
Nah,
Here's the thing,
United.
like
My bigger rival, because I didn't grow up living in actual North London. I grew up around Manchester United fans. So United is bigger for me.
but if United gets Champions League, then they have money in the summer.
There
Because
we go.
then
That's
they'll
what we don't.
because now they're linked to Cunha.
That's what we don't.
They're linked to Gyökeres, and if they get that Champions League money, they'll be able to go splash the pot.
Their targets change. It's not Cunha anymore. They'll be going for the bigger
Right.
the Osimhen's and all that. We don't need that. I need United to go bankrupt.
So then you
want Tottenham.
then you want Spurs.
I didn't say that. I said I need United to go. You're saying that. I said I need United to go bankrupt.
What would be the
Lily White Zao over here.
I've been thinking about this. What would be the funniest outcome? I think the funniest outcome
I think
for
both
everything.
lose.
No, but for everything, the funniest outcome is we win the FA Cup, and then I can be like, we still won trophy. the next funniest outcome would be United getting a trophy.
And then we win Champions League.
And then you win Champions League, and he falls out of Champions League.
I don't
Guy
think
that's had the best season, bar none. Like, most consistent, like, overperformed to the max. You've been good. Don't get me wrong.
Not in the Prem.
Not in the Prem. But, like, if you walk away from this season.
How have we not been good?
You have been good. He's just.
We haven't been great.
You haven't won. You didn't win. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But my point being is that, like, he's been the most consistent, the most overperforming, I would say.
By far.
United, don't even need to say anything. Us, obviously, we've sucked. If we all walk away with silverware and he gets nothing, that would be the funniest outcome possible. Just saying.
I would take that deal right now. Sorry, Chief. I'd throw you right in the
really? You'd take a Champions League title? No shit.
It would be so wrong.
It would be wrong.
It would be so foul that the underdog, the people's champion, the one that did everything right.
We'd have to...
Story of the year.
Story of the year. And then the fucking rich bums get the...
That would be like, I don't think God exists.
You might have to, like, reconsider fandom. Like, can you do this? Can you carry on?
I don't know if I could carry on with the show.
That'd be the worst show day ever.
Terrible. Yeah. That'd be a bad day. It'd be a no good, very bad day. So let's just win the next 3 games and then we'll cruise into Champions League.
Now, what's realistic? That none of us get silverware?
I think, honestly, the most realistic outcome, I mean, Man United, Tottenham, like, if I don't know how to predict that, but, like, I think the most realistic is that me and Chief get Champions League. There's a fairly good chance we win the FA Cup, I guess. And then I think that you guys have a very, very strong chance of winning the Champions League. No bullshit. Like, I really think that you guys are locked in on that. And
that would fucking suck.
And, like, the best you can hope for it is a 50-50. And I think that with the teams left, if you get to the final, it's a 50-50.
Yeah.
In terms of the matchup. Like, there's not a team I see, like, blowing your doors off.
Right.
Like, you might, like, say you end up against Barcelona. Like, there's a universe where if you play that game 10 times, 5 times you handle them fine, and then there's 5 times where they win 3-0.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, I think that is a really likely possibility. Like, even when City won the treble, like, we were playing Inter, like, everything was going right that season. We were playing incredible. But even against Inter, like, that was essentially came down to, like, 1 shot from Rodri and 2 saves from Ederson.
Yeah,
that was the game.
Yeah.
So, like, you can have, like, the best season ever, but it comes down to, like, 2 or 3 moments.
Right.
So you just got to hope that you land on the right side of those.
Yeah. So get ready. Get ready.
We got to do something.
Smokes, you don't got to tell me. I have been dreaming about this game since 2006. I have been waiting to get back in that fucking final since 2006.
The 2 teams I'd want to see win, even though, I have a Barcelona ticket. I was going to say, I'd like to see PSG win just because I think they're such a great team, and I like the storyline of them getting rid of Mbappe and then clicking.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, honestly, even though, like, you and I have we have a rivalry with Arsenal, and I fucking hate you guys, like, you guys winning the Champions League, like, at the end of the day, like, I do prefer where, like, it just shows the Premier League, like, supremacy.
Right.
And, like, you guys have been really good, and, like, I just, at a certain point, like, I just can't keep laughing at you and, like, doing this.
No, you can. You can do it.
But, like,
You can do it.
You can do it.
but here's the other
It
reason.
would be so funny.
Here's the other
Think of
reason
how
why.
funny that would be.
Here's the other reason why, though, is because, like, I know that there's going to be a faction of their fan base that are like, it ain't a Prem.
I don't think so.
Yeah, there will be. There will be.
They've never won this. I think if you asked, we'll ask Za. If I told you at the beginning of this year you'd finish second, but win the Champions League, or finish first and not win the Champions League,
Bro, I've seen so
exactly.
Depending on how long you've been following, answers will vary. So I've seen 3 already. I've seen.
So
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to say I'd rather the Prem.
Really.
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen it, though.
That's a fair point because where I was at with the treble, like, obviously it's a little bit different because we had so many Prems, but I was like, all I cared about was a Champions League.
Yeah.
Because Za's seen over 1,000 Arsenal Premier League games. This is like my first season where I've watched every single match start to finish. But at the same time, like, those Champions League games hit different.
It is such a fun thing to take the piss out of you guys with, though. Like, you've never won it.
Yeah, there's no chirp back.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
They'll find gymnastics. I know these.
I don't want that to go
I'm
away.
riding
I
with you.
don't want to have to do gymnastics. I like just being able to drop that trump
I was just
card
saying
right
that
there.
I would like if you guys won.
The gym.
I like your players. I like your guys. I like Saka. I like those boys. I don't really love Gabriel, but I kind of love him how much I hate him.
Imagine
Feel that.
a club that's getting relegated is about to be broke and going back down and probably can't come back up because it's so hard to come back up, is over there in their stadium fucking dancing around singing second again, ole ole. Bro, you might go bankrupt next year.
Yeah.
It's like, worry about yourself.
Yeah.
Dude, I think that Gabrielle and Holland would be best friends.
No.
I think they like I honestly think they really like each other. It's kind of like
Looking
it's
in the
kinda
mirror a
remember
little bit.
McGregor Diaz?
Yeah.
Like they like each other.
Yeah, deep down.
Deep
They're
down.
cut from the same.
They like
Yeah.
like Holland throwing the ball at his head, that's like something a friend does.
It's kind of like seeing Marshy and Chuck like being teammates. Now. Now
Yeah.
they're boys, but they
Yeah.
used to fucking hate each other.
Right.
Put them on the same team, and they're like best friends.
I
Rat-
think that's
rat
100% those
line.
two.
Yeah.
Like I think they enjoy. I think that Holland, at least I can speak for, like I think he like legitimately enjoys that. He's like, I can't wait to fuck with this guy, and I think that Gabrielle feels the same way.
Yeah. You guys got anything else?
No.
No? All right, well, we got an interview with Dax McCarty coming up right now, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening. And today we have analysts for MLS Countdown, MLS 360, and MLS Wrap-Up on MLS Season Pass, Dax McCarty. Dax, thank you for joining us today, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me, fellas. How we doing?
We're doing great.
We're doing well. I'm glad you're on the broadcast side of things with the MLS. When I think of the MLS, you're one of the names. You're one of the names, like a long time MLS, kind of played everywhere. Dallas, DC United, Red Bulls, here in Chicago, Nashville, Atlanta. So you've been across the spectrum. Which one of those was like your favorite place to play?
Ooh, that's a loaded question, fellas. I played for a long time. If you ask me when I was young and single, no question about it, New York.
Yes.
All right.
Easy answer. And then if we fast forward to my life now, it's a lot calmer these days. Nashville, unbelievable city.
Hold on. Young and single, you're choosing New York over Nashville?
Yes, I am. And funny enough, New York City was the perfect time and place for me to be at that moment in my life. New York is the GOAT. I'll highly recommend it. If you've never lived in New York City before, it's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of like living in Chicago, but on steroids. So it's amazing. And then Nashville, I could have gone either direction with Nashville. Young and single in Nashville is obviously a big win. But it's also got a cool vibe to it for families. Southern hospitality. I lived in a great neighborhood. I was like 10 minutes outside of downtown Nashville. Walking distance to restaurants, shops, bars, close to my kids' schools. It was just a great place for a young family. So New York and Nashville, man, great places to live.
Dax, quick question here. So obviously in America, soccer kind of falls after football, baseball, basketball. Now, when you were young and single, though, New York was, I'm a professional soccer player. Did that play?
Sounds like it did.
It depended on where you went. You know,
Owen Harrison.
It definitely wasn't like hey, yeah, I play for the Knicks. That was back in the day, man. That was when Linsanity was going on.
Yeah, you had no chance against Linsanity.
No chance.
Didn't work in Harrison? No? Not in Harrison?
Not in Harrison. I did not go out in Harrison. You would not catch me frequenting any bars in Harrison.
I don't know how when the last time because I used to live. I lived over there before I moved here to Chicago. I don't know when the last time you were there. They fixed that place up, man. In and around the stadium, it is really nice now, man. It's crazy. It's awesome.
No, it's way nicer in Harrison. Listen, man, that's the stadium, man, that Bradley Wright Phillips built. Yeah. My colleague on MLS Season Pass, stud goal scorer. I love my time in New York. It was the perfect time for me. If you ask me throughout my career, the best moment in time, top to bottom, on the field, off the field, it was in New York, man. I had a blast in New York in terms of it was when I played my best soccer, and it was also just an unbelievable place to live at that moment in time. I actually lived in Hoboken for a year, which is another dope city.
Wait, where?
I lived right across the street from the W.
Oh,
where
okay,
the W
okay,
Hotel
okay,
is?
okay. Oh yeah. That's
You can
that's my
catch
stomping
me.
ground, bro.
I can't even remember. It was what was it, Tallulah's or Delilah's or something? The little club right there in the W. You catch me there popping bottles on the weekend.
There you go. There you go.
I like this guy, man.
I was over.
I feel like me and you would have been best friends.
I was young and dumb, man. Young and dumb.
Yeah, so is Nick. So we had Brad goes on last week talking about like this kind of unbelievable fan passion down in Atlanta, which was your last stop. You also did 3 years in Chicago, and it's kind of safe to say that we have not been able to replicate that or kind of grow it here. What do you think the biggest challenge is for the Fire and the MLS to really take root and have that sort of grassroots support that some of these other MLS teams have?
Well, the Chicago Fire, I mean, listen, if you're looking at like the macro view, the Chicago Fire are a big name. They're a big name brand in MLS, but they've been irrelevant in that city for years. So my first year in Chicago with the Fire was 2017. We changed a couple things. The coaching staff brought in a couple big-time players. I don't know. You guys might know a guy named Bastian Schweinsteiger, German legend, World Cup winner.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
That
played
season
for
in
Manchester United.
2017, he was a legend. That season in 2017, we were awesome. We were in the mix for Supporter Shield, which is the most points in the league at the end of the season. We ended up making the playoffs for the first time in 9 or 10 years since Chicago legend Mike McGee won MVP way back in the day. But we never capitalized off that success, that initial success in 2017. We could have parlayed that into reigniting the fan base, and we didn't do that. So I think Chicago, it's been one step forward, 3 steps back. But new ownership, Joe Mansueto is a fantastic owner. I'll say that till I'm blue in the face. He will make that team very good. He will make that team very relevant. I think playing way out in Bridgeview, I don't know if any of you guys ever went to a game in Bridgeview, Illinois. It just wasn't a great venue to host soccer games and to be able to make it out there, to be in the city of Chicago, to be closer to downtown where all the action is. You're competing with the Bulls and the Bears and the Cubs and the White Sox. I mean, it's just almost impossible if you're going to be 35 minutes outside the city and if your team stinks, okay? Yeah. So priority number 1, get back closer to the city, which they've done that. And honestly, games at Soldier Field they're not great unless you're playing against Lionel Messi and Inter Miami. I think if Joe Mansueto can build a soccer specific stadium that can seat 25, 30,000 people, I think that'd be a home run for the city and for the team. And then the next step, and the step that maybe is even more important, is you've got to be better on the field. They've got to be more relevant. I don't know if you guys have heard, but there are rumors that Greg Berhalter and Joe Mansueto are interested in bringing in Kevin De Bruyne from
that was going to be my next question.
Then it was Neymar before that.
I can read your mind.
They're selling us dreams out here, man. They told us Neymar, now KDB. Yeah. It's
Neymar. So Neymar, I think would have been a great signing, but Neymar is he's dealing with a bunch of injuries now that he's down in Brazil. He would have created a ton of buzz.
He would have filled the stadium, which is what you need.
But I think in terms of if you want a superstar that can also give you substance in a couple good years on the field, I think Kevin De Bruyne is a no-brainer. Pay him whatever he wants. If he wants to be the second highest paid player in the league to Lionel Messi, give him the bag.
So I was going to kind of piggyback off that. Do you think we're going to see – because, Messi's just opened up a whole new world with his current deal. The MLA, you're getting a cut from direct from Apple and all that. Do you think we'll get something like that for KDB, or does he command that sort of level of eyeballs? He puts asses in the seats.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone is in the stratosphere of a Lionel Messi. True. The only player that you'd actually have to structure a contract similar to his would be Cristiano.
Ronaldo, yep.
But that's not going to happen. Yeah. So Kevin De Bruyne, you have to get creative. But Joe Mansueto has deep pockets. Money is not an issue for Joe Mansueto. I think it's just going to come down to length of contract and the different options that Kevin De Bruyne has. Kevin De Bruyne just came out recently and said he still feels like he can play at a high level. He still feels like he can play in the Premier League, and he was disappointed that Manchester City didn't offer him a new contract. Yeah. So you have to wonder where his head's at. If he wants to come over and help build up the Chicago Fire again and wants a quieter life for his family, he's got young kids, I think it's a no-brainer. Yeah. I think you come to Chicago, an absolutely fantastic market, a massive sports market where he could really settle in and make that team his. Chicago's got a lot of talented players on their roster right now, and I think they've got a really good coach in Greg Berhalter. I think it's a match made in heaven, so I would hope Joe Mansueto would do anything he could to get Kevin De Bruyne to that team, because if Kevin De Bruyne signs there, the Fire are instantly one of the favorites in MLS.
Let me ask you this, because you spent your entire career in the MLS, and obviously it's great when we get guys like Messi and Suarez to hop over here, but do you think maybe it's kind of like a double-edged sword where it's kind of like, yeah, you come to the MLS to retire. Do you think that's kind of holding the league back in a sense?
It's a good question, Nikki. And to be honest, MLS has been fighting this type of narrative for a long time. You guys remember back in 2007, I don't know how old you guys are. Maybe you don't remember.
I was like 8.
I'm old enough. I remember.
So the league did this before with David Beckham, and that kind of ushered in a new era. But everyone said, hey, that's great to get David Beckham. You get more eyeballs, but we're signing all these aging superstars, and it doesn't look good. Whatever. Fair enough. MLS is past that point now. More to your question, Nikki, it's not a problem to bring in these aging superstars as long as you balance it with all the youth initiatives that we have in MLS now. There's never been a better time to be a young player in MLS. There's more outgoing transfer sales, so us selling players from MLS to big clubs in Europe than ever before. Homegrown players, teenagers are on the field more than they've ever been in this league. And we're also, as a league, signing more players in their prime from big European clubs, right? And so even if, let me give you an example. You look at the Chicago Fire, they've just signed a winger named Jonathan Bamba, who plays on the left wing. He's one of the most electric players in the league. He was playing in La Liga. His last game that he played in before making the jump to MLS was against Real Madrid, okay? So he scored against Real Madrid, and MLS teams are able to go and get a player like that to bring him over to contribute. So I don't necessarily think that the retirement league is a narrative that really plays anymore. Yes, Messi is older. Messi's my age. But guess what, guys? He's still the best damn player in the world, and he proves that on a daily basis. He's still getting called in for the Argentinian national team. Luis Suarez, Sergio Busquets, these guys, they're on their last legs. I think they're going to retire very soon. I don't think Messi plans on retiring anytime soon. And when you're the greatest player of all time,
I mean, the
you
guy
can do whatever you want.
He doesn't track back. He doesn't run back. So of course he can play 20 more.
Exactly. Hey, you don't sign a player like Messi to ask him to defend.
All right.
Okay?
Nah, I feel you on that.
Doesn't have that Dax McCarty work rate and intensity
Exactly.
anymore. Yeah.
Dax McCarty doesn't have an ounce of his skill, so I had to have the work rate. Okay.
You did have the fire though. So when I pull you up on YouTube, the first clip that comes up is you starting a fight when you're in Nashville. So take us through that.
When is this question?
Yeah, take us through that. Like, how did that start?
You know what,
were
man?
you the MLS enforcer? You got a little hockey blood in you.
I had a little. It's funny. I'm a smaller guy, short king, stand up.
Trust me, I feel you.
I was
standing.
That's right.
Standing.
Hey,
4 foot
that's
5
right.
proud.
I did have a little bit of an edge to me when I played. I always felt like I played with a chip on my shoulder. I was the underdog, right? And I represented the national team a couple times. I was an all-star a few years, but I never felt like I could sit and just kind of coast. You know, I always felt like I had something to prove. And so, you know, when people mess with me on the field, I would not take kindly to it. I'd give it right back. So that clip you're referring to, it actually pisses me off because for as much of a fiery chip on my shoulder type character as I was, I never had a red card in my entire career until that game. And you guys see it all the time. Soccer players, we're fake tough guys. All right. We're not like hockey players. We're not like NFL players where we're actually going to be swinging on people. So you guys see it all the time with soccer. Someone goes into a bad tackle, a bunch of guys get in each other's faces. It's a bunch of peacocking. Ooh, back up. It's some pushing and shoving. There's never one guy that's ever going to take it to the next level and swing. All right. So the referee.
Well, Dax, you did give him a nice little kick in the stomach.
Yeah, I did. Listen, I was going for the ball. All these different things. All right, listen.
He
wasn't my proudest moment, but what I'll say is this: I'm not happy about the red card, and I will say that if I was going to get a red card, I would have liked to get more value for my red card there.
Honestly, that guy shouldn't have been standing there. He shouldn't
exactly.
Have been,
That's exactly right.
You're right. Yeah, give you your space.
I watched your retirement video. And the first 3 seconds, you said you knew it was time to hang it up because your wife said you had love handles.
That's right.
What's that like to hear from your wife?
Guys, that's tame in my household. I get bullied constantly.
God.
It's all right. Maybe I'm a masochist. You know, I kind of like it. There's something about it that kind of like. But my wife she was my biggest fan and also my harshest critic. Which, listen, I don't know if any of you guys are married, but I think that's good. It keeps you humble. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps things interesting. But my wife is great, man. We've got a great relationship. We've got some good banter back and forth. She gives me shit. I love it.
Did you get back on the treadmill after that?
I did get back on the treadmill after that because my feelings were hurt a little bit. But look, man, 37 years old. I turned 38 in a couple of days. I think it's fine to expect the dad bod to start to take over here.
I think you've earned it. I think
I've
you've
earned
earned
it,
it.
man. I played 19 years. I ran my ass off for 19 years. I'm allowed to have a dad bod.
That's what's in nowadays too. Right?
She needs to accept it. I always told her that my dream after I retired was I'd keep my arms and my legs skinny, but I just have this fat beer belly. So I would be able to rest a beer on my stomach while I was watching sports.
Are you making
Like
progress with that?
For every pro athlete.
You making progress with that body?
You know what?
Towards that goal?
I played in the U.S. Open Cup recently, and I felt like I got in some decent shape to play in it. And now we got knocked out 3 weeks ago. I haven't touched a workout since, and I feel like I'm well on my way.
Good for you. Now, you mentioned your time with the U.S. men's national team, too. I want to go back to the 07. The U20s team, because there are some names on that team with you. Michael Bradley, Freddie Adu, Jose Altidore. What was at that time? Because Freddie Adu, obviously, when he signs at 13, he becomes this, kind of a cultural phenomenon. He's the next one. He's going to be the guy to save U.S. soccer. At this point, he would have been 18. What was the vibe around him among the guys that he was on the team with? Was there resentment towards him? Did people what was it? No. Okay.
There was no jealousy. There was no resentment. You know what the vibe was kind of awe. Like, I imagine it was how it was when LeBron James was in high school and he had all his high school teammates around him and everybody knew like this is the best player that they had ever played with or ever seen. That was Freddie Adu back when he was 13 and we were all, I believe we were 15, 16, 17 when I first started playing on the same team as Freddie. I'm telling you guys right now, he was worth the hype. His career didn't pan out the way that I think he would have wanted it to or anyone would have wanted it to. But that I still, to this day, I've said this before, I'll say it again. He was the most talented player I had ever seen in my life up to that point in time. We played against MLS teams who were preparing for preseasons with our under-17 national team. Freddie was the best player on the field. He was making grown men look silly. Megging them, making them fall over, making them trip on themselves. It was truly a spectacle to be his teammate and to watch him play and to watch him train. And that 2007 team that went to the U20 World Cup, we had some ballers on that team. But Freddie was sick. He parlayed that tournament into a deal with Benfica, who's one of the biggest teams in Portugal, one of the bigger teams in Europe. I do look back on our time together, and I do feel very grateful for it because he's the type of old school player where I think nowadays we get a little bogged down with players being robots. All the players kind of look the same in terms of how they play, run fast, hustle back on defense. Freddie was like the American Ronaldinho. He had unbelievable feet. His technique was class. He would play the game with a flair that you just don't really see nowadays. You know what I mean? And so he was old school, man. He was such a fun player to watch. But that 2017 was really good.
And I don't think you're giving them enough props because you beat that Brazilian team that was stacked full of. I mean, there were people like David Luiz, Marcelo was on that team. Alex Pato, Pato was meant at that time. Alex Pato was meant to be the
our team was very good.
Next big thing, and fucking Altidore goes in and he scores two goals against him, beat him 2-1.
Exactly.
Crazy.
We also let's not take away our we beat in the round of 16.
Suarez.
We beat Uruguay.
You beat Suarez.
With Luis Suarez and Edison Cavani. Up top. Funny story about that, real quick. We played them in the round of 16. I subbed into the game. I'm a center midfielder. One of our defenders got a red card, and we went into extra time against them. We were tied, I think, 1-1 at the end of regulation. So I had to go and play right fullback. Our coach was like, Dax, go play right fullback.
Against Suarez?
Suarez was playing on the right, and his coach saw me get moved to right fullback, move Suarez over to the left.
That's like when they have like the white corner on the field in the NFL.
So anyways, hey, I held my own. Suarez only got the ball a few times. I think I kicked him once. But listen, we won the game. That's all I care about. We won the game, and then there was a brawl on the field afterward. If you guys want to see a real soccer player brawl, watch that. USA Uruguay in the 2007 World Cup.
If I were you, I am taking that story to the grave because, I mean, Luis Suarez is one of the greatest strikers I've ever seen in my life. Man.
Yeah, Suarez is fantastic, and he's still doing the business in MLS. Last year, I think he scored 20 goals in the league. He was absolutely fantastic. This year, he hasn't scored as many goals, but he's been a playmaker. Messi has missed a few games. Suarez dropping into midfield. He just runs weird.
Yeah, no,
he runs like a 38-year-old.
He's an incredible player.
I got one last question for you, Dax. So, hearing your story about the U.S. men's national team back in 2007, great story. But I want to talk about the team this year. And honestly, just talking to you for this 5-10 minutes, I feel like you're the type of cat that we need on the pitch. Just kind of like a gritty, almost hockey player mentality. Because I watched this team, and Chief tells me all the time, he's like, what USA soccer used to be is just pride, grit, and we just grind it all out. And now we got guys playing in Europe at Juventus and all these big clubs, Christian Pulisic, AC Milan, and now it's kind of like, it's not as gritty. Do you feel the same thing?
I do. And it's frustrating because we do have players that I believe still embody that type of mentality. A guy like Tyler Adams. I played with Tyler at the New York Red Bulls when he was 15 years old. And this guy's attitude was at the highest level. He didn't give a shit about anyone. He would kick you. He didn't care what your name was. He plays for Bournemouth now in the Premier League. And he's been injured on and off. He's the type of player that this team needs to be the captain. I love Christian Pulisic. I think Christian Pulisic is the team's best player. But your best player doesn't always mean you're the best captain.
Correct.
So I think this team needs to embody those old school players that we talk about. The guys like Pablo Mastroeni, Chris Armas, guys like even like Clint Dempsey. These guys that had this attitude, like they didn't give a shit about what team they were. Whoever stepped on the field, they were going to play no matter what. They were going to play with this American pride. And you're right. There are a lot of players that play in Europe and they play at a really high level. But when they come back and represent the U.S. men's national team, that doesn't mean that it always has to be pretty. It needs to be more gritty, right? Because we have this, I almost feel like we have this arrogance about us as the U.S., right? As Americans. We're naturally good at pretty much anything that we do. We're good at sports. Hey, we're still not on a world-class level for soccer. We're just not. We aren't there yet. So every time we step on the field, we need to have a mentality of we're going to outwork this team first, and then we have skillful players. And once we outwork a team, then our skill can come through and shine through. But you guys are right. You guys are spot on. We are missing that grittiness that we had 10, 15 years ago. And I think the U.S. can get back to it, but there's not a lot of time. Pochettino has 1 year until the World Cup. And there's not a lot of time, and there's not a lot of international windows to get it right. Like so Pochettino, he needs to shake things up. He needs to call in some new players that maybe will light a fire under some of these other guys to make sure that by the time the World Cup rolls around, we're at our best. Because it would be embarrassing. It would be embarrassing to have a poor performance at a World Cup on home soil.
At home.
Right, and I feel like our guys now, when they come back for international breaks, they treat it like it's vacation, as opposed, and like I'll go back to my real team, whereas before, guys it felt like they had more of an MLS identity. So going up, it was playing for the national team was like their World Series or their Super Bowl, as opposed to now they're like, I got Champions League in a week, so I'm gonna chill.
That's a really good way to put it. And yet, I'll still say this: this whole narrative of if you play in Europe, you're automatically better than an MLS player, or if you play in MLS, you stink. It's crap. It's nonsense. And I don't say that. I don't say that just because I played in MLS my entire career. I think that there are great players playing in MLS. I think there are great players playing in Europe. Playing in Europe at a club level, most of the time, is a higher level than playing in MLS. But you guys, I've said this a million different times. Just because you have talent and just because you're playing at a quote-unquote higher level doesn't necessarily make you the best fit for the U.S. men's national team. It's not a collection of the most talented players. It should be a collection of the best players who have talent and who will represent our country with pride. Pochettino, it's his job to find the right collection of those players. I don't care if you play in MLS. I don't care if you play in the Premier League. I don't care if you play in Slovenia. Doesn't matter to me. If you're going to represent the badge with pride, then I want to see you on that team, and that's going to give us the best chance to win.
Hearing you say that makes me think of the movie Miracle. Maybe we should show that to Pochettino and just have them run.
Well,
so they say, "Who do you play for?" And instead of naming their clubs, they start naming the USA.
Well, and there's a great line in that from Herb Brooks, which he actually said, where he's like, "I'm not looking for the best players, I'm looking for the right ones." And it sounds like that's kind of what Dax is saying right there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you think that an international coach like a Pochettino with no connections to America, certainly none to the MLS, do you think that he's capable, or should we kind of default to find an American coach? Like, would Jesse Marsh have been a better fit?
I 100% think Pochettino is capable.
Okay.
But the problem for Pochettino is he doesn't have a ton of time, and he needs to reframe his mindset because he's coached in Europe for a big majority of his career, and he's never coached a national team before. So this thought process of I have time to build up my principles and I can show players how to play beautiful football and tiki-taka, and I'm going to be able to have all this time to work with my players. That doesn't work on the international level, okay? You have to find the right balance between implementing your principles and how you want to play, and then finding guys that are willing to fight and scrap and be gritty and claw. Pochettino has to find that balance. I don't think he's found that balance yet because international soccer is not the same as club soccer.
Right.
So I think he has smart people on his staff. I think that he's not naive. I think that he knows that it's different when you coach a national team and when you coach a club team. But Jesse Marsh, when he was available, the U.S. men's national team, they decided to go in a different direction with Greg Berhalter. I think Jesse's a great coach. I had him as my coach at New York Red Bulls. And I think Jesse would do a great job for the U.S. men's national team. But the reality is he's happy in Canada. Great. Pochettino can do a job. I just think he needs to reassess what it's going to take to make this team be competitive at the World Cup. Because it's not necessarily talent or skill. Yeah, that'll play a part of it. But it's more so heart, desire. What does it mean to represent the U.S. and how do you win at international soccer? Because it's not always the best team that plays beautiful soccer. I don't know if you guys watch World Cup qualifying down in South America.
Yep.
South America has some of the best players in the world. It's a war. Every time these guys step on the field, there's like a potential to have 3-4 red cards. Okay, and I'm not saying the U.S. men's national team needs to start kicking the shit out of their opponents to win. But yeah, maybe we do need an element of that. Get that nastiness back, a little bit of that American swagger back, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. All right, last question. You know, we're 9 games into this MLS season. I want you to give me who you think the best team is and who's the most fun team. So if I'm on Apple Pass, I'm logging in, I'm like, I can watch one team play and I'm going to be thoroughly entertained. So give me one for each. So who's winning and then who's fun?
So we all equate entertainment in soccer to goals, obviously, right? Nobody wants to sit there and watch a 0-0 game. I get it. Sometimes there's beauty about 0-0 games, but no casual fan wants to sit there and watch that. I completely understand. You're gonna watch the San Jose Earthquakes and our old coach Bruce Arena. San Jose Earthquakes. They have scored the most. They've scored the top 3 amount of goals in the league, and they've given up a top 3 amount of goals in the league. So no matter if they're winning or losing, you're gonna see goals because their attack is really good and their defense is really bad. Okay. So if you want entertainment, watch the San Jose Earthquakes.
Overs in the San Jose games.
Noted.
Write that down.
So it's funny, the best conference is the Eastern Conference. The top 5 teams in the Eastern Conference are all really strong. Messi and Miami are great. Columbus, Philadelphia, Charlotte, FC Cincinnati. They're the top 5 best teams in the East, and they would all dominate in the West. But the best team in the league right now is in the West.
LA?
It's the Vancouver Whitecaps. They don't even play in the U.S. Vancouver's excellent. They play fun soccer. They're on top of the Supporter Shield standings. They have a new coach, Jesper Sorensen. Nobody knew who he was. I didn't know who he was. I'm supposed to be an expert on the league. Had no idea where he came from. He's done nothing but get this team to play well and win. They've got the best backline in the league. They've got one of the best strikers in the league in Brian White, an American kid who went to Duke, who's scoring goals for fun right now. And that pains me to say because I'm a Tar Heel. I went to UNC.
Yeah.
But the Vancouver Whitecaps are the best team in the league right now.
Question for you.
What's up?
Easiest one you'll get. Who is the greatest and best teammate that you ever played with, and why is it Thierry Henry?
Dude, you answered it. Because Thierry's a legend, man. That guy made soccer look easy.
That's,
I'm
that's
an Arsenal fan.
That's
When you came on, I was like, oh, he played with my guy. It was like,
Yo,
that's my guy, man.
Thierry, I will say this. Thierry, he's one of the he's obviously one of the best players of all time. There's no debating that. But as a teammate, if he liked you, you were in. He would hook you up with all the perks that come with being a superstar like he is. He would hook me up with courtside seats at the Knicks games.
So he made New York fun. He directly
Thierry made New York unbelievably fun. That guy was a legend. There's a place in New York that's no longer with us. I think it closed down after Thierry retired. It was called Bagatelle. It was like a day club in the city.
Okay.
He had a standing table there, and he would always invite the fellas out. And it was just that's what I'm telling you guys. New York City, man, best place in the world to be when you're young.
Unbelievable. Well, Dax, thank you for your time. Unbelievable interview. And if you ever want to come back on, just let us know. We'd love to have you.
You're
on.
in Chicago. Let us know, man. Come by the office if you're in Chicago.
I will, man.
Yeah,
I will. I
we're in
love
Chicago.
Chicago. I used to live in Logan Square.
Oh, nice.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I was a hipster.
Yeah, you were there before it was cool even.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thanks for having me, guys.
All
That
right,
was fun.
Appreciate you,
Thanks,
man.
Dax.